How are you currently diversified?
Yeah, that's actually the secret sauce of it. And it's the thing about diversity, it's the only free lunch in investing. Very simple rule for me. On traditional equities and debt, no more than 20% in any one sector. There's 11 sectors in the economy, and no more than 5% in any one stock or bond. So think about, you've got 11 sectors. Real estate's the 11th sector in the S&P, the most recent. The only rule I break is real estate. I have about 32% of my portfolio in real estate.
Is that commercial real estate?
No, it's a blend. But right now, what's really exploding in terms of value for me are the deals I did in data centers. I bought 10,200 acres in Alberta, Canada, and last week we announced 10,300 acres in Utah. Both locations have extraordinary attributes in terms of what the hyperscalers need. So I'm really, really long real estate right now, because if you look at the cash flow in all commercial real estate, there's never been in history this much CapEx allocated to this sector. We have demand right now for 45 gigawatts of data centers and only 5 under construction. Think about that. So for the next 7 years, I want to be long land that has power, fiber, permits, and water.
So how does it look then in terms of like percentages? Like if some person out there watching with 10K to their name, how are they going to mirror your portfolio?
Right now, what's declined the most in the last year, so let's look at where we sit right now. I would say on a portfolio basis, I'm about 60% equities globally.
Is that private, public?
We're going to make it, we want simple numbers here. It's private and public. I'm about 5% in alternatives, including cards. I used to be 11% in crypto, but I discovered something quite disturbing, I might add. We'll take a little derivative here. So I'm down, quite a bit on crypto, because last October, when the Genius Act passed and the SEC made stablecoins legal tender, something really crazy happened. The Stability Act, or the Clarity Act as it was called then, looked like it was going to close by December. So here we are in October. We're at the Cantor conference in October. October 20th was the date, I think. And the word on the street was that within 6 weeks that we were going to get the final act for crypto, which was going to be the Structure Clarity Act. So all of the sovereign wealth funds that we index with on the equities started to say, okay, we're going to do some work on preparing for which positions to put on in crypto. Which ones do we need to own to actually get exposure to the alpha, the volatility of the market? Do we own Bitcoin? Do we own Ethereum? Do we own Solana? Do we own whatever? There's 10,000 coins. And they independently, without any emotion, because there's a lot of emotion in the crypto market, a lot of Kryptonians and all that stuff. These guys were just independently saying, we're going to allocate $500 million into crypto. And their researchers started to go to work. Here's what they found out. You only need to own Bitcoin and Ethereum, and you capture 98% of the entire crypto market. You don't need anything else. All the rest is poo-poo. So the poo-poo coins collapsed. I mean, it was brutal. Some of them went down 80, 90%, and they're never coming back because they're poo-poo coins. They have no reason to exist. And there's nobody going to save them, and they have no marketing money to go get the ticker that Ethereum gets every day on every cable network in the world that looks at business. And Bitcoin's Bitcoin. So that's very sobering. People lost a ton of money that they're never going to get back on the poo-poo scale. So if you're going to get exposure to crypto, avoid poo-poo and just simply buy the two that matter. That's what I did. So I sold 27 positions, gone. Put it into USDC, which, is giving me yield of 3.9%, and just bought more Ethereum and Bitcoin. And now it's a very interesting time. Those things have been crushed too. So, I'd call that an alternative too, but it didn't perform as well as gold. So, if you think about it this way, for me right now, it's probably 60 equities globally, 20 fixed income, and 20 alternatives, including cards, crypto, gold. And that portfolio has done quite well.
What's an investment that everyone loves right now that you think is going to collapse?
It's never the one you think, it's sort of in fact, that's the great question, because it's the reason that you should force yourself into diversification, because you think you know. You don't know, but you're right. Something will collapse. But because you only own 5% of it, or max 20% in that sector, it's very hard for a sector to completely collapse. But, there's been a real correction on a lot of the AI assumptions lately. And some of those stocks have pulled back. But because, for me, it's just a 5% position, it doesn't really hurt. And yet gold, everybody got that wrong. And that thing really saved my rear end. Like, look at my gold portfolio. It was insane, the performance.
If you had to throw out a guess, though, if you were to speculate, not that people should listen to what you're speculating on, but what would you say could be something people are bullish on right now that you're bearish on?
I think the disruption that's going to occur in AI around, I would say, financial services. You saw what Jack Dorsey did. He laid off 40% of his people yesterday. In a sense, he's financial services. I think that's going to happen again. Now, the weird thing is the stock price didn't collapse, but the employment numbers did. So it's hard for me to pick where AI is going to disrupt next. I would have thought it would have happened sooner, but it's this next year, the year we're in, here we are in February. If we have this gathering again in 12 months, something's going to go down 80%. I just don't know what it is yet, but it will be because of AI's disruption.
So I'm curious for you, do you just pop open your brokerage every morning and like dollar cost average?
No. What I do is I mark to market with a dashboard. I have, it's a proprietary dashboard, but it takes every single global, because I have accounts in the UAE, in Switzerland.
What do you mean a council?
Well, I have a company called 𝗪𝗧𝗧𝗪𝗧 Global in Abu Dhabi, and it has investments. So those stocks go up and down on that exchange. So I need to know what they are. And so at 4:05, although remember 13 hours ahead over there, I just take a snapshot. I look at it on my phone and I say, I just look for variance. What moved more than 3%? And so it flags any position that had more than a 3% move in this trading session. And what's occurring now is there's more and more names every day. There's a lot of vol. Let me give you an example. I'm a shareholder in Circle. You're probably unaware of this. It went up 35% yesterday. That's a lot. Now, why did it go up 35%? Because there's a emotion in the market now that it looks like the Clarity Act is going to clear in the next couple of months. And that solves the issue around interest on stablecoins. So boom. I have a big position in that company because I bought it privately years ago. 35% move in one day. You don't see that very often, but it was a huge winner in the portfolio. But my whole point is it's not more than 5%. But that when you get 5% position to move 35%, you outperform the market that day.
This episode is in partnership with Airbnb. So Graham and I just wrapped up a trip. We were in Austin for a few days. We filmed episodes with Togi, Chris Camillo, and Caleb Hammer. And honestly, every time we're on the road, we're staying at homes on Airbnb. It's just become the default.
And here's the thing most people don't think about. When you're the one traveling, your place back home is just sitting there empty. And that's a real missed opportunity.
Whether you're gone for a long weekend or a few weeks, you can list your space on Airbnb and let it work for you while you're away.
If you've ever thought about hosting, but weren't sure how to manage everything from the road, Airbnb now has the co-host network. You can connect with a vetted local co-host who has real hosting experience and can take care of the day-to-day for you.
A co-host can manage reservations, handle guest communication, and even provide on-site support so you don't have to think about it while you're traveling.
So instead of your home sitting empty, you could be generating some extra cash, whether that helps you cover the next trip, your flights, or just goes towards something that you've been putting off at home.
I actually listed a spare room in my house on Airbnb, and I was genuinely so surprised how easy it was to set up, how seamless the entire process was, and it actually made me some pretty good money. I would actually recommend this to anyone out there that wants to make a little extra cash on the side. It's honestly phenomenal. If you're thinking about hosting but want some help getting started, find a co-host at airbnb.com/host.